The big bad evil guy from Stranger Things Season 4 has been announced, and it's none other than Veccna, the D&D badass. All you Stranger Things fans out there who do not know about this character, let this D&D nerd enlighten you. This video is for you. Veccna was originally an evil wizard from the setting of Greyhawk, one of D&D earlier settings. He was powerful and feared by all, and he rose to great heights. But the only thing he was afraid of was death. What do you do when you're afraid of death? You find a way to beat it and beat it into the ground. And that's exactly what he entered into a pact with the demon god Orcus and was able to transform himself into something called a litch. For those of you who don't know what a litch is, it's basically when you have your consciousness trapped inside of your mortal body. It's eternal, but your body decays and rots and gets all gross and disgusting until almost nothing's left but bones, animated walking bones. But eternal life wasn't good enough for Veccna. No, he wanted to become a demigod. No longer being concerned with the day-to-day functions of government, he appointed Kaz the Bloody-Handed as his enforcer. To help him impose his will, he created a magical item called the Sword of Kaz for him, which was made from the material of a dead star and forged in the sun of Earth. I don't know how he did it. He did it. Just don't ask questions. But there was a terrible side effect with this weapon. It was actually sentient. And what do sentient evil weapons do? They corrupt. So this sword got into Kaz's head, telling him he should rule. He was better than Veccna. And you know what happens at that point? Revolt. That's right, Kaz struck out against Veccna, and the two of them battled at Veccna's Black Spire Tower. And when the whole thing was done, there was only two things left to show for it: the hand and the eye of Veccna. Everything else was completely destroyed. Well, it turns out that Veccna had trapped Kaz in a demiplane of dread known as Ravenloft. But Veccna's spirit still hung around, and he still was worshipped by a bunch of followers, and he gained even more power until eventually he did become a demigod. But that still wasn't enough for him. He wanted to become a true god. But there was some entity out there that was having none of it. So they took Veccna and they imprisoned him in the same dark domain where Kaz was. The two would become just the worst neighbors, warring for eternity across a piece of land called the Burning Peaks. But even though Veccna was trapped there, he wasn't done. Through a way I won't get into here because it's too long, he was able to escape the demiplane of dread. And he headed right to the City of Doors, Sigil. Now, it's called the City of Doors because it is basically the hub of the entire multiverse. And if you want to rule the multiverse, what do you have to do? You take over Sigil, and that's what he tried to do. But long story short, he was thwarted and cast out of Sigil by the Lady of Pain. But right before his death, he was still able to maintain some form, and now he travels the multiverse, still gaining more power, still being revered, still being a badass. And apparently now he's coming for our friends at Hawkins.